This is Boomer Life on CL 650.
Welcome to Boomer Life on CL 650. I'm Joanne Sutton. In the studio with us today is Jim Doyle, Senior Financial Consultant with Investors Group Financial Services. And we're talking about ways to start the new year armed with fresh perspective. Look forward to starting 2017 on the right track financially. So, do you find yourself stressed out about money matters? Well, the chances are you're not alone. The very first place to start, identifying your financial goals and priorities, and you need to write them down. So let's review the 3 principles of the financial planning process. Take a moment to grab a pen and a paper, or you can turn up the volume, of course. We're also going to be talking about top dogs and downward dogs, and I think this is going to be good.
A great tip for starting the new year in a positive way: master the following 3 principles of the financial planning process to take you where you want to go. Number 1, set goals and priorities you want to achieve. Number 2, successful planning requires positive cash flow. And number 3, regularly track where you are financially with an ongoing evaluation of plans and strategies that keeps the plan relevant. This is where an advisor can be invaluable.
You make it sound so easy. Creating your own personal, comprehensive, written financial plan could be a wonderful way to start the new year.
You know, Joanne, many clients have told me that the most difficult part of the whole process is to walk through the front doors of my office and admit that they weren't managing their money or setting goals. But once that first step was taken, they felt relieved and wonder why they didn't engage in the planning process sooner.
Jim, I have to admit that when you told me you wanted to talk a little bit about top dogs and downward dogs, I thought we were going to be talking about your associate, Paige Brettel. She's here. Isn't she a devotee of yoga? And I know one of the movements is called a downward dog.
Paige is. And yes, I believe one of the yoga movements is called downward dog. But the downward dog I wanted to talk about had more to do with the unsettling history of how a Canadian company had been a champion in 2015 and in 2016 was anything but. Take, for example, Valiant Pharmaceuticals, which was Canada's largest company by market capitalization, and then it proceeded to crumble in early 2016.
Investors were left dazed and confused and considerably less wealthy, having that collective sigh, "Oh, not again."
I think, like many champions, it suffered the so-called winner's curse, that once it had laid claim to the title of champion, like many companies before it, it was soon on the ropes. It's a widely recognized phenomenon, and it strikes frequently.
Actually, I've never heard of this phenomenon.
It's not just a Canadian thing, but when it does strike here, it matters more. In 2012, Rob Arnott and Lillian Wu published The Winner's Curse, Too Big to Succeed. The paper looked at the track record of the world's biggest stocks from 1952 to 2011. Their research showed a persistent pattern in each of the 9 countries they studied of the companies. Once achieving top dog status, they underperformed their country's equal weighted index by an average 4.3% per year the following decade.
So how did Canada's top dogs do?
This is not a good category to be an overachiever in, but Canada's top dogs posted the worst relative performance, a minus 10% per year the following decade. What Arnott and Wu found was that the fall from the throne was typically as quick and dramatic as was the rise to it.
Ouch.
The study's authors noted that even to the casual observer, something distinguishes the Canadian top dog list since 2000, apart from the U.S. list, from the presence of financials and resources. Companies like Exxon, IBM, GE, and Apple all remain successful global giants. The Canadian champs, not so much.
Well, who's on that Canadian champs list?
Well, Nortel, Valiant, and BlackBerry are some of the notable names, as are Potash Corporation, Barrick Gold, but for different reasons. Keep in mind that this conversation we're having is not about making recommendations as to what clients should buy or sell, but rather to look at how and why an investment makes it into your portfolio and why it's important to regularly monitor and review your investments, but your overall financial plan as well.
I liked it so much better when we were talking about yoga. That's actually a language I understood.
When it comes to this storyline, I'd have to say I agree with you. Okay. When it comes to Canada's former champions, they have a less than impressive stock market record.
Jimmy, you've mentioned many times before the importance of monitoring, regularly reviewing, and rebalancing your portfolio. So what are some of the key things we should keep an eye on?
There's three things that everyone has to have where money is concerned: clarity, confidence, and control. Understand what options you have at your disposal, how the decisions you make impact your personal life and finances, and what the trade-offs are for each decision.
I think most families struggle a little bit with financial choices, and they're simply not sure if they have enough to work with a financial planner. But I know what you'll say. Everyone needs advice, no matter how much they have.
One of the national insurance firms released a 2016 study that found of the top 4 drivers of uncomfortable stress levels for Canadians, 3 involved financial challenges. 45% worry about personal or household finances, 32% worry about trying to maintain a budget, and 31% worry about unexpected expenses.
So you're talking about if you save a little more or reduce your current spending, what does that mean for your future nest egg? Or if you retire 2 years earlier, how much less will you have to live on?
Precisely. Asking and answering these types of questions help ensure that the decisions you make are right for you and align with your values. I meet people every day who are not confident in their financial picture. They're not confident in their choices that they might have to make, and they're not confident in their financial knowledge.
Is this something shared by Canadians or limited to those who do not have any savings or investments?
The study indicated how a third of respondents reported insecurity over their general financial health. What I found in my practice is it often doesn't take big changes in what they're doing to have a big impact on the bottom line.
So if people want to start improving their financial health, they should talk with their financial advisors or consider giving you a call for a second opinion.
It's not a bad idea, Joanne. I'd really like to help give people back their confidence.
Well, it sounds like money isn't just a single conversation, but it's an ongoing conversation. The more planning and preparation you put in, the better the choices you might end up making. Everyone's looking for ways to take a little bit of stress off the table.
It's not uncommon at all for us to start working with someone and find out they're reluctant to engage in the process because they might be embarrassed about some of the financial choices they've made in the past, or they fear being judged. Let me offer this. If you're not satisfied with what you're doing or where you are financially, I invite you to sit down with me and take a look at your situation. Let's see if we can't help you feel more confident and secure in your financial security. Okay? It's not just about choosing investments. Financial planning involves finances and money and family.
Confidence in your own financial situation and your options goes a long way to helping create a much better outcome. You're listening to Boomer Life on CL 650, and I'm Joanne Sutton. Today, we've heard the expertise of Jim Doyle, Senior Financial Consultant with Investors Group. As we move into 2017, this is a great time to re-examine the way that you approach saving and investing, developing healthy financial habits as you work towards your New Year's financial to-do list. So, Jim, thank you so much for everything you shared with us today. To learn more about Jim Doyle and how he helps financially comfortable Canadians rediscover their sense of confidence and their sense of purpose, it's as easy as giving Jim a call, 604-682-5431. Or you can send Jim an email, jim.doyle@investorsgroup.com. Make 2017 your year to make a financial plan. I'm Joanne Sutton. Thanks again for joining us on Boomer Life on CL 650.